I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Of the juggernaut, bitch!
It's not a tumor.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane!
2 chicks at the same time.
I am the law!
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win. You die.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!
Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Geek Speak. I'm your host, Craig, and I'm accompanied by Mike Payton. I'm just getting in the mood, sorry. Very nice, Mike. And Travis Goss.
Loud noises!
Oh, man. We got a very, very funny episode for you guys. We're following the very, very talented comedian Will Ferrell, the Saturday Night Live legend himself. And today we're going to be discussing a couple of movies he's made and a very special movie that's coming up that's going to come out soon. When does Anchorman 2 come out, Mike?
I believe it's this Friday.
This Friday. So excellent time to talk about this. So let's get started. Let's get started with Anchorman. So, Mike, let's get started with Anchorman.
Okay. Well, Anchorman, I think, took a lot of people by surprise. Will Ferrell, he was semi-established at this point as a name, not a huge name, but he was somebody through his career that he had through SNL and a few random movies that had come out, most notably Night at the Roxbury, I think, is where a lot of people knew Will Ferrell from. But that was an SNL back picture. I don't know if people thought Will Ferrell could really carry a movie on his own. And Anchorman is where not only did he solidify himself as that, he also solidified the Will Ferrell style of movie. And I think Anchorman had a number of them to follow up where the formula they followed, Will Ferrell is a guy who does a job, and he's funny while he's doing that job. And they would continue that formula with Anchorman, Semi-Pro, Blades of Glory, Talladega Nights, and just go on and on and on. And it's because it worked. Will Ferrell plays this excellent character actor. He surrounded himself similar to how Adam Sandler did. Adam Sandler has his usual cronies that he'll bring into his movies. Will Ferrell has those too, but you know what? They're better. you got like the bald guy who played Champ. I can never remember his name, but he's great. He was also in Thank You for Smoking. I always enjoy his characters. Yeah. You had a surprise little appearance by Ben Stiller, which was fun to have him in there. Danny Trejo was in this movie for a short moment. Steve Carell is Brick. Paul Rudd.
Kushner, you were talking about Champ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's freaking great.
Oh, he's excellent.
Yeah.
The cast that they put together for this, absolutely great. Will Ferrell, I'm not sure how much of a role he had as helping put together this movie, but I mean, I know these are all people that he works with frequently. So I have to think that he had some sort of decision on how this all came together. But I don't know if I want to say it's his best movie ever, but I think it's certainly his most popular. I think when a lot of people are like, man, let's go watch a funny Will Ferrell movie, they're probably going to put this one in.
Yeah, it reached occult levels because initially the movie was kind of a bomb.
I didn't get into the movie for a long time.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was that I heard negative things about it or what it was, but I didn't see Anchorman until long after it was released on DVD.
You know, I couldn't stand Will Ferrell for a long time. I thought he was ridiculous, but you know, as more movies started coming out and I started getting into them more, you got to really like that really ridiculous comedy, over the top presentation that he always brings to the table.
All right. Well, before we go any deeper, we actually got a caller on the line, so let's bring him on here.
Alrighty.
Caller from the 412, you are on Geek Speak Live on Mega Powers Radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
JD in Pittsburgh, guys. How's it going?
Oh, JD, what's shaking, dude? Calling in on a different show. How you doing, bro?
Not much. How you guys doing tonight? Merry Christmas to you guys.
Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas indeed, man. It's pretty close. It's hard to believe, actually. How you been, man? We haven't had you on in a few weeks. It's actually crazy hearing you calling in here on Geek Speak.
Yeah, well, it was my birthday Sunday, so I figured I'd give you guys a call tonight and see what was going on.
Oh, it's fantastic, man. Are you a Will Ferrell fan?
Yeah, big time Will Ferrell fan. I've been a fan of his since Bewitched, and I've watched some of his earlier stuff. So, yeah, definitely Will Ferrell fan. I'm looking forward to seeing Anchorman 2 this weekend, possibly.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Did you really? I'm assuming you were a big fan of the first one. Then, what are some of your favorite things from the first one?
Oh, let's see. The first one's funny whenever he started crying like a baby. He's like the man Pun Baxter, and he starts crying. That part was funny, but my favorite part is whenever him and David Koechner jerking Christina Applegate's chain in this. This is Rifkin of I Have Your Pregnancy Report. You can, they start jerking her around, and then all of a sudden he gives the producer like money and says, whatever it says on the other, it's like, and this is the Channel 4 News anchor report. Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy.
He's like, I'm Ron Burgundy. Tits McGee is on vacation, and I'm Ron Burgundy. That whole scene alone kept me cracking up time and time again.
Yeah, I love how he like screws up and he's like, I'm Tits McGee, and then he's like, oh shit, Ron Burgundy.
Yeah. But it should be pretty good, though. I mean, there's a lot of good movies coming out this holiday season. You take a look at the good ones. I mean, Tom Hanks' Saving Mr. Banks looks really good. The Wolf of Wall Street looks fantastic. I mean, Ben Stiller's Walter Mitty movie looks pretty good. I mean, this could be a big holiday weekend. A few weeks, however, for Hollywood.
Desolation of Smog just came out. A lot of good movies.
I'm not a Hobbit fan by any means. Frozen, my niece went to see, and my girlfriend's niece went to see it. They loved it. You have Medea's Christmas out now. I mean, that's kind of a fair review of this, however. But there's definitely a lot of good ones coming out in the next few weeks. And obviously, with the new year just around the corner, however, who knows what we're going to see next year come out. I mean, there's already talk about a couple other movies making sequels next year, too, you know.
Oh, of course. There's always going to be sequels in the works. We were just speaking before. That's how the Hollywood days work now. Yeah. Always just what was out there before that we can capitalize on. JD, are you a big fan of Christmas? Are you in the Christmas spirit with all these things coming out? Can you enjoy a good Christmas-themed film or anything of those lines?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely like Christmas. Like I said, my birthday was on Sunday, so my birthday falls like 10 days before Christmas. I enjoy it. I have a friend. My friend's been my one friend for 30-plus years before Christmas Eve. I have a lot of people born between before Christmas and after Christmas, so it's like a 2-week window stretch. But like I said, yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, I go to my cousin's house in the South Hills of Pittsburgh, and then we go to my uncle's house Christmas Day. And like I said, I got my girlfriend a nice little Christmas charm for Christmas, needless to say. I went shopping yesterday and got her that. She's going to like that for Christmas, at least.
Nice. What's your favorite Christmas film for you?
Oh, wow. I mean, there's so many good ones. I mean, you got the Griswolds, obviously. But I would say the Griswolds is one, and if there's the second favorite, I mean, right now it's a toss between Elf and the Polar Express. You know,
Elf, huh?
Those are three.
That's another good Will Ferrell.
Another Will Ferrell classic, yeah. And the part that's funny about that whole movie is when Peter Dinklage comes in, and then he already says to James Caan, he says, and I'm in love, and I don't care who knows. And then also you see Peter Dinklage like, does Santa know you left the workshop? And Peter Dinklage says, you're very funny, my friend, however. Just call me out one more time. He's like, he's an angry elf. And then that whole scene alone just keeps me cracking up the whole time. And then all of a sudden, James comes and says, say, Miles, listen, I don't know who this guy is. This guy thinks he's an elf. And then he walks right out of the scene, and then Con starts yelling at him, literally saying, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're listening. Just leave me the hell alone. Now. And he walks right out.
Oh, that makes me think of Bad Santa as well.
I have a lot of movies, and the thing is, another good Christmas movie, and it's kind of a bittersweet one, is The Family Stone. That was pretty funny, with Diane Keaton, Craig Kellerman, and Sarah Jessica Parker, and Dermot Mulroney. That was kind of cute in a way. I enjoyed that one. I got that from my ex-girlfriend a long time ago when it first came out, and time we were dating. We're still good friends, though, but I bought it for her one year for Christmas, and then she bought it for me a week after Christmas, a week later, and she says to me, I watched this Christmas night, and this is when we were still together. She calls me up, like, right after she sends me the movie. She says, I just watched this, like, Christmas night, not last week, however, after we went to my in-laws for dinner and everything like that. And I started crying. I had to have the tissues handy. And I said, oh, man, I know you didn't make me cry. I said, yeah, it's very emotional. But she's still a good friend of mine, though, but she likes that movie. And I think it's a good movie. It's an underrated movie, and it doesn't get enough praise.
Pull it back here, because tonight's episode is themed about Will Ferrell. What are some of your other favorite Will Ferrell movies?
Talladega Nights by far, Ricky Bobby. I mean, the whole Baby Jesus scene just keeps me laughing, you know. And like I said, he was good. I mean, there's been some other movies. I mean, Bewitched, he wasn't too bad in with Nicole Kidman. There's a couple other movies he's been in, and he's acted goofy in others. However, I mean, I'm just trying to think of some good ones. Like I said, Bewitched. I mean, Anchorman, Talladega Nights. Wedding
Were you a fan of his
SNL
SNL days?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the cowbell scene, it's funny, the cowbell scene, however, mind you, my one friend, Kevin, in Pittsburgh one year, dressed up as him for Halloween, however. And every time he walked in the room, however, my friend, on his CD player. This is when he used to live not far from me. He's still good friends with Andy today. He walks in the room. Every time he walked in the room, however, they had Don't Fear the Reaper being played, and all night he would hear that. Every time he would walk in the room, it had to go right into Don't Fear the Reaper. But, Wedding Crashers he was funny in. I thought that was pretty good for him. And there's a couple other movies. I mean, there's a couple of movies I did like in the Stranger Than Fiction movie with, I forget her name. What the hell is her name? Emma Thompson. That was kind of an unusual movie in a way. But as far as comedy goes, like I said, Talladega Nights is definitely up there. Anchorman is number 2. And number 3, I would say Bewitched is up there.
Really? What did you think of Old School?
Oh, Old School. Frank the Tank. I mean, that's tied for
Frank
first,
the Tank.
I mean, the whole... Honey, you think KFC's still open? I mean, that
We're
whole
going
line there is
streaking,
so
everybody. Going streaking.
Yeah. We're going streaking. We're going to the gymnasium. Snoop, look, you and your green hat. Come on, everybody, let's go.
You're my boy,
he had
Blue.
a team up with Luke Wilson. He's got a re-team with Luke Wilson and Vince Vaughn. Again, I mean, I could see those three in a movie again together. I mean, that would be kind of fun.
I could see when they're old men doing kind of like how the Adam Sandler crew did with, what the hell were those? Grown-ups. Yeah, they're all old men gathering together for one last hurrah. I could see them doing that someday.
Yeah.
That was kind of a sad movie.
You know, they would have to talk about Grown Ups. I mean, Grown Ups 2 was a good movie. One of my favorite movies to watch this year. Another one which was really good was We're the Millers. I would like to see Will and Adam do a movie together. Now, that would be kind of funny. I mean, where do they go from here and what the plot would be interesting. But like I said, if they can do like a Grown Ups 2, if they open the door kind of after Grown Ups 2 to make a third one, the question is, what do you do in the third one that you haven't done in the first 2? You know? I mean, it'd be wild to see what they can do, you know?
I actually have not seen the second one, and I only saw bits and pieces of the first one to know that I am just not into the Adam Sandler shtick anymore. I think Adam Sandler will be another person we have to really delve into the career of on an episode of the show, because that guy has just had an amazing rise and fall of the quality of films that he's been in and produced. Yeah. But I don't want to go too deep into Adam Sandler. I want to save that for another time. But has Will Ferrell ever had that deep of a drop? Has he ever been in a movie that bombed so bad that you like, oh man, this is like a downfall for Will Ferrell? I think he's not necessarily always been great, but he's been fairly consistent. I would think maybe like Blades of Glory, that could be one I would say was kind of a drop.
See, he doesn't release movies like every year.
It's kind of funny, and I think it was Stranger Than Fiction was a little drop to him in a way. And, I mean, it was just a very unusual film to follow, because they said you had Dustin Hoffman and you had Emma Thompson, and all it was, however, was they're just basically telling him that he's his character in the book, however, and whoever was the writer, I guess it was, however, I mean, Dustin Hoffman, I guess, wrote it, unless it was him, and then, it was a very strange film to follow. I think that was probably one of the films that he kind of fizzled out in, but then he kind of came back and responded with, like I said, a couple movies after that, though, but that's one of the few films I say he dropped in. Blades of Glory, yeah, he was Chaz Michaels, Napoleon Dynamite, John Heder, however, and it was kind of funny because you had Will Arnett and Amy Poehler and Jenna Fisher from The Office. I mean, he was kind of funny as the crazy sex star of Chaz Michaels, but at the same time, however, I think that's the only one I can see him really that has had a really significant drop. Other than that, he's done some pretty good films over the years, you know?
You know, I like the fact that he deviated from Saturday Night Live, and he kind of got his own crew of people to make films, and he really moved past that slapstick shit. Yeah.
Well, look, if you talk movies, you talk to me, because like I said, I got a ton of movies at home. I mean, I got a lot of wrestling ones, mind you, but I got a lot of old movies, like from the past, like the 70s, 80s, 90s, a few of the 60s. I mean, I couldn't tell you, I mean, like I said, the number. I'd say over close to 400 or so, but there's so many films I've liked over the years. I mean, I couldn't tell you right now. I have a top 10 because it really varies from time to time, you know?
Well, JD, we appreciate you calling in tonight, man. Good chat tonight.
Definitely, guys. Good talking to you again.
Have a good night, bro.
Thank you. All right, so bringing it back to Anchorman.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I don't know where I left off at. Anchorman, the look that Will Ferrell brought in this, I mean, when you see Will Ferrell in any other movie, his look is usually the same. It's the scrawny, awkward-looking white guy with the curly hair that he has naturally. This, though, they gave him this fancy 70s hairstyle with the mustache and the sideburns. I mean, they made this a period piece in a way very, very well. I mean, you look at a lot of the set pieces, they have the 70s-style Budweiser logos when they're in the bar, pictures of boxers from that era on the walls. I mean, really, really cool stuff that went through for this movie. Very little details that you normally don't see in, like, I don't want to call it a B-level comedy, but I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's a B-level comedy.
I would call it a B-level comedy. It's not, I mean, it's one of the most ridiculous movies ever. There's nothing of substance here, but it's really funny, you know? Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous, and I love how in the beginning they're like, based on true events. It's like, what? I don't know. But it's cool. They tackle some issues. It's very period specific. Like the fact that Christina Applegate wants to be an anchorwoman, and I guess really back then women in the workforce was kind of a taboo thing.
Oh hell yeah! Especially on some sort of like public platform, like being a news anchor or a politician or something like that. It's like voodoo.
Yeah, it's funny how you see today, like there's women everywhere, like on television and stuff like that. But back then, it really wasn't, and that wasn't really that long ago.
No, it's kind of a shameful thing when you look back in there.
Yeah, we've progressed, so.
Well, some ways.
Some ways. Some ways
more than others.
Yeah.
But Travis, how did you feel about this movie?
I thought it was awesome. I laughed at every minute of it. It was just great to see for instance, they had Steve Carell as part of one of the supporting characters, and he is such a dumb ass throughout the whole film. It's amazing how he's even known as a weatherman.
Brick, I think he killed a guy. Yeah, you should lay low for a few weeks. And let's see what else about this movie. Well, going back to this very same character, the funniest joke of the whole movie is they're all trying to hit on Christina Applegate's character, and one of the guys tries to teach him the come on line of "There's a party in my pants and you're invited," but he walks up to the woman and he's like. Yeah, Steve. Well, it's one of the guys tries to teach him to say the. You want to come to my pants party?
Yeah, it's like, here's my invitation to a pants party, and she's like, "What? I'm giving you an invitation to my pants party," and she's like, "Are you trying to say there's a party in your pants and I'm invited?" Yes. And then she turns and says, "I was one of the other Anchorman's names," and screams, and he runs off.
Brian Fantana.
Yeah, that's it.
Played by Paul Rudd.
Fantastic, Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
I almost don't even realize it's him most of the time.
I know he does. Yeah, he deviates. He's like the '70s porn star almost.
What makes that really awesome is you watch all the actors and the way they've done it up. Like you said, it was like a period piece in the '70s, and the way they've done them up, it is so amazing. But the overall story, I mean, I laughed hysterically and. After seeing that a few times, I couldn't help but keep saying the catchphrase, "You say classy, San Diego." Mm-hmm. I kept saying that, and it just stuck with me. I just don't know why, but it's such a great movie, and I'm really happy the sequel's coming out on Friday. And this is definitely one of the better Will Ferrell movies.
And what I think the movie has succeeded in that a lot of comedies don't, it's enjoyable to watch as a story, so you can watch a movie from beginning to end, and it's also a movie that's enjoyable for quoting, so you can take these little bits and pieces and use a quote at some point during your lives with your friends and laugh about it again. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Comedy movies usually fall into one or the other and not both. This one of those few movies that actually does kind of go into both of those categories.
I like Scotch.
Scotch.
How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
Was there a lot? Yeah, they had a lot of famous comedians in there, like
Jack Black.
Yeah, Jack Black. That
Vince
was
Vaughn,
that part.
Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
Well, he was a comedian, but man, they had so many great cameos in this movie too. Danny
Even
Trejo,
Seth Rogen's in it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's almost like a who's who of actors that made some sort of special appearance in the movie.
Yeah, but I don't think at this point Seth Rogen really hadn't made too much of a name for himself yet.
I think around that time he came off from doing.
I think this was right after Superbad.
Yeah.
No, Superbad came out after. I think Superbad came out in like 2007.
No.
I'm gonna check that real quick.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay.
Okay.
but he didn't make a name for himself for that in the movie Knocked Up, I think. But didn't Knocked Up come out after Anchorman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, Seth Rogen took off around 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
You know.
Jonah Hill wasn't in this. He's another one of those guys. You look back in a lot of these movies from around this time period, like Grandma's Boy. It's like, oh hey, there's Jonah Hill.
I mean, I guess you got to start somewhere, you know, as like a just secondary character throw in these films, but it's fun seeing him in there, knowing how big of a comedian he is now. And it's like, oh, you know, when I first saw the film, I was like, I didn't know who Seth Rogen was.
Oh no, you never would have been paying any mind to who that guy was. That was just the blonde woman's camera guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so let's talk about the sequel that's coming out on Friday.
I don't really know how they're going to pull this off because it really seemed like this story was all wrapped up in a neat little bow. I think it's cool we're going to get to see all the characters again, and I'm sure that'll be fun, but what they're going to do, and now, you know, I guess it really doesn't matter what they're going to do.
It doesn't, because the story is so ridiculous. But at the end of the film, they're like, yeah, you know, they went off to do this, that, and the other thing, and I don't know how they're going to tie it in to...
This sort of looks like it's going to take place there in the late 70s, transitioning into the 80s.
It's going to take place in the 80s.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, I guess they're going to be a world news crew now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's where the first one left off at. That makes sense.
Kind of like a CNN type of thing.
Mm.
It should be interesting. It should be funny. I mean, you know, I don't expect a lot from it, but I expect it should be pretty funny. I think it's going to be a lot of fan service.
Oh, absolutely. Probably a lot of callbacks to the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of references of the same jokes.
And it just makes me wonder, I mean, because it's like you just said that the first movie ended the way it did, and really did not leave any doors open for a sequel. So what I'm wondering is, are they doing this because they wanted to, or is it because the fans were asking for it?
I think the fans wanted to. Like I said before, the film really didn't get a lot of credit when it came out, but it gained a lot of popularity as the years gone by.
Well, at the same time, what has Will Ferrell been doing lately? I'm sure he's quite happy to be doing this movie.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely getting the crew back together to film another movie, of course. And I was going to make a point, too. In return, it was about the movie itself. Oh, shit, I forgot. Never mind. I just had a total brick moment.
I don't know why I'm talking.
Loud noises!
But no, it's. I just don't understand why they had to make another film. Like I said, the first one ended nicely. Did not need to have a sequel, but
it's all about the almighty dollar.
What the hell?
Yeah, I guess the conclusion is just like I was saying before. It doesn't matter. It's probably not going to really have any chronological impact on the first story. You probably could even enjoy it as its own separate movie.
Yeah, now I remember what I was going to say. How the first movie, it didn't do like tremendous amount of success, but it definitely found its audience on video. That was the same thing that happened with the first Austin Powers movie, now I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Touche.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although the rest of the Austin Powers movies kind of fell off.
Are you Spy Who Shagged Me was the best one.
Goldmember was kind of the same, but
Goldmember was great just because of Michael Caine.
Yeah.
He was fantastic.
They're talking British.
Well, you put anybody in there with a thick Cockney accent, yeah, of course it's going to be good. But back to this movie, I don't know. I mean, I want to see it because I love the first one, and I think it could find itself some pretty good success based off of the...
Oh, it's good. Gangbusters. Are you kidding?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I don't know if it's going to knock The Hobbit off the top spot, but definitely would be nice.
You would like that.
I fucking would love it.
Well, the Hobbit's just a week old now, so I mean, Anchorman's going to have a good chance on its opening weekend.
I don't know. I mean, the amount of money that they poured into the Hobbit series, and I don't think it'll beat a comedy. I don't think comedies are never like the top movies. Very rarely. I'm not going to say never, but
they are more popular. That's a good thing.
Well, they're more approachable.
Approachable, yes. That I would have to agree. But considering who's the people behind Anchorman 2, I think it does have a very good chance of knocking The Hobbit off, or at least coming a nice close second. I would love to see it be number one, though.
I think it'll eat a lot of its profits away from it, but I don't think it'll knock it off. The problem with comedies is that they are more popular. I think, actually, if you compare the numbers of the people who actually wanted to see these movies, if you were doing a poll, it may actually be higher. But I think people are less willing to part with $15 to go to a movie theater to get the big experience of watching a movie like Anchorman 2 in there, when they would rather go see The Hobbit and something like that.
3D,
you can get so much more out of it seeing The Hobbit in the theater rather than Anchorman. Anchorman's a movie you could wait to spend $1.50 and get it on Redbox and enjoy it all the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, plus people are going to go see The Hobbit multiple times probably.
Oh, you poor bastards.
You know,
it's fucking 3 hours long. How could you? Like, what?
Well, you know, I mean, people are into it, man. I mean, how many comedies have you gone to see multiple times? Well, I can't say nothing because I saw This Is the End like 3 times in the theater. But
back in 2000, I saw Dude, Where's My Car twice in the theater.
Yeah, I did too. I don't know why. That movie was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous, but it was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm sure I could think of some. I don't generally go to the movie theaters twice for anything, though, so it's not something that's popping out in my head.
You know, the last one I actually did see twice in a theater was Dawn of the Dead, the remake.
Yeah, but bringing it back to Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one of his other movies. Mike, how about you talk about Stranger Than Fiction? This is a film that one of the only Will Ferrell movies I haven't seen.
Well, I think you absolutely have to. I think this is one of the most unique Will Ferrell movies that you will come across. Our good friend that just called in, JD, unfortunately did not think very high of it. I have to completely disagree with it. I think this is a high point for Will Ferrell. I think this is that one time in his career where he took some balls for himself. He decided, let me try something different than going with this typical formula character that he's been doing for the last number of movies with Anchorman, with Talladega Nights, with Semi-Pro, with Blades of Glory.
Is this a more serious film, or?
It's more serious. It's not incredibly serious. It's still very lighthearted. There's still lots of jokes and laugh-out-loud moments. Funny enough, most of them usually not coming from Will Ferrell himself. Will Ferrell actually does an excellent job playing up this very sympathetic, awkward business type guy in this movie, and it's something you don't normally see. I mean, he'll always play awkward and always seem like, usually he goes into like a cockier role, but this one he's very unsure of himself. He's generally more of a hermit type guy who sticks alone. He doesn't socialize a whole lot, and he actually plays it very, very well. He's able to keep a straight face and not make those goofy faces that he's capable of doing in most of his movies. You think back to like Zoolander, the faces he was making in that, just absolutely ridiculous, which he's very good at. I'm not trying to hate that part of it, but this showed that he had much more range, and he was able to go into a movie like this. I first saw this years ago, and I remember liking it a lot. Not to the point where I was like going super high up, but I also wasn't. That was a couple of years where I wasn't really super into movies. I was just obligated with other things. I was playing in bands and stuff, so I wasn't super crazy about it. But I remember really, really liking it at a time when I wasn't liking too many movies. In fact, there was this movie and another one I saw around the same time that reminded me of it was called The Invention of Lying. These are two movies that if you feel like you can get into something that has a little bit more drama and romance based into it for people that you typically look at as comedians, these are one movies to see. I wouldn't put it at the level of, say, like a Jim Carrey doing Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, because that's knocking out of the park when you try to make that kind of transition. Jim Carrey just absolutely blew everyone away with how he did it.
He's a good actor, too.
Absolutely, he is. Yeah. Will Ferrell, I wouldn't say did as good of a job, but he did a very fine job. He didn't completely botch it like Adam Sandler did with Spanglish. Will Ferrell still showed himself a very capable actor with this. Surrounded himself with an excellent cast. The love interest, oh my God, she's so cute. And like the backstory they give this girl about how she went to Harvard Law School, but she just couldn't find herself getting into how things work out there. So she ended up getting really into baking, and she ended up dropping out of school just to be a baker. It's like, if I'm going to make the world a better place, I can do it with cookies. I'm like, oh my God, that's so adorable. I love this girl. So really into all the characters in this movie. A lot of romance into this, so if you're not a person who can dig romance in movies, you might get turned off from it. Not too much. I mean, they'll spend scenes really building up this romance, but then the overall thing that you're worried about in this movie, and I didn't even mention this at all, the thing that makes this movie really unique, the story of this is Will Ferrell finds himself as a character in a book that's being written. And he hears the book, the author of the book, as a voice over in his head, narrating everything that he's doing throughout the day. So in the very first scene of the movie, he's going to brush his teeth, and the narrator's like, Harold brushed his teeth 33 times left and right, followed by 33 times up and down. And then all of a sudden he'll just stop and be like, who said that? How'd you know I was counting my brush strokes? Just for that's the kind of tone it sets in there. So, there's a serious tone to it, but there's also these funny moments that can be done with the same concept, and they're not shy to do that. But about halfway through the movie, you actually get hit with the harsh thing about this, and that's the fact that the destiny of this story is for the character to die. And I'm not going to go any further into that, how that comes all together, how that gets approached, because I implore everyone to see this movie if you have not. I think this is Will Ferrell's, I don't want to say his best movie, I'm not going to say his crowning achievement, but it's something where he showed he's much more than just a guy with a mustache who's spouting funny lines. And if you really want to have your eyes opened up to what Will Ferrell is and what he can do, I would say do it, because I don't think I've seen him do anything like this before or since. He's really stuck more into the comedy genre, and if he hasn't gone outside of it, he hasn't done it as well as he did here. So this is something worth seeing in the career of Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I mean, this was a time where there's a couple movies he was making, 2006. So it was about the same time Talladega Nights came out.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a little bit more serious, and then, of course, Talladega Nights was a very, very ridiculous movie.
And some of the jokes are just like so different for Will Ferrell. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of romance involved in this, and the main girl, the love interest for him, is a baker. Right. So one of my favorite scenes in it is when he's trying to court her, and he catches her on her way outside of her bakery, and he runs up to her, and he's like, I just wanted to give you these, and he hands her this box full of these little brown bags, and she's like, what are these? And he's like, oh, they're flowers. So it's like baking flour. It's flowers. Little fun things like that. Guys, feel free to use that if you have a baking girlfriend. They'll love it.
They like flowers.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on. I guess. Travis, do you have you seen that movie, Stranger Than Fiction?
I have not, unfortunately. And I actually kind of like these movies where you have these big name comedians taking on dramatic roles, and in some cases pull it off very well. I mean, Jim Carrey did that with The Truman Show. Yeah,
it's difficult, man, especially when you're coming off of fucking crazy comedies,
And, Truman Show, actually, I think is the perfect thing to relate it to. I did say Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That's certainly not what this is. Truman Show, or maybe even like Liar Liar, is where I would put this, where it's a little bit more serious, but still very, very funny with parts in it.
Right.
Yeah. And like you were mentioning the Invention of Lying, which is my favorite Ricky Gervais movie.
Mm.
And another one I'm trying to think of. Even going back to like Drunk Punch Love, which was maybe not the most popular Adam Sandler movie of all time, but he did pull off a nice dramatic.
It was a lot better than Spanglish, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was much better than Spanglish.
Well, he killed it at the Sundance Movie Festival. It's one of those really artsy art house films.
But yeah, I mean, Stranger Than Fiction, if it's anything like these other films, I know I would definitely be very interested in watching it. It would be a very big treat because I also love Will Ferrell quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, and considering everything that Peyton has talked about this movie, I'm even more motivated to go see this film.
It's a very hip movie too. Like the soundtrack on it is all these really fun indie bands like Spoon, really fun, a lot of piano. So it makes the movie that much enjoyable for that. And also, they do these really neat little things, because one of the things that's supposed to be in Harold's character is he's sort of, I don't want to call it OCD, but he's one of those people who, counts steps and counts tiles in a bathroom and all that. And throughout the movie, you'll see him, the calculations that are being made in his head, there'll be, a little ruler that goes across something and shows how long it is or how many ounces of soap are inside a soap dispenser.
That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I mean, that looks like it's going to be I can't get the fucking words out. Yes, that looks like a really good movie, and I was searching up for Netflix what we were talking about and couldn't find it. But I'm sure it's on DVD somewhere, and I can get a copy.
Yeah, it upsets me. I wanted to see this movie. I mean, every time we do these shows with when we talk about actors, I try to watch as many movies that they're in as possible, and I feel bad that I haven't seen it, especially considering that it is such a deviation of character for him. But definitely a film that everybody should check out. I'm going to check it out probably within the next week. So, all right. So let's talk about one of Will Ferrell's. I think this is like his tour. Is like one of his funniest films, Talladega Nights, and I'm going to say like it's probably also his most ridiculous film, but the combination of Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, and Sacha Baron Cohen is one of comedy's most prestigious things ever, like happenings in film of all time. And I like this film because it has a lot of improv. And like we were talking to JD, like that scene where they're sitting around the table praying to Jesus, and and he's praying to baby Jesus, right? And it's funny because even the kids it's all like improv, and all the things that they're spouting out, it's just funny, just really ridiculous stuff. That the movie, it shows how like redneck families kind of like, I don't know, it shows like how like the redneck look of family is, because I mean he's a NASCAR driver, and then his family's all broken, and he just all he cares about is winning, and then obviously he loses, and he's got to work his way back into there, and he's got to beat Sacha Baron Cohen, and it's just a really funny film. Mike, did you see this film at all? I mean, you probably have.
Of course I have. Yeah. No, this is an excellent. Once again, it's falling into that typical formula for Will Ferrell, but I think it's one of the ones that really worked with it. I would say it's the second best one under Anchorman.
Yeah.
I love the cast, absolutely. Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly have such excellent chemistry with each other, and we'll discuss more about that when we get to Travis's movie Step Brothers.
Yeah, they're
these guys just build off of each other so well. I mean, even the look of them next to each other, it's like, yes, these guys are a comedy duo.
They were born to work together.
Yeah.
Just shake and bake.
And
I feel like they do that every day. Like
it's absolutely my favorite Sacha Baron Cohen role. I mean, the accent that he pulls on in this, the pretentious French guy, he nails it to a T. And my favorite scene of the whole movie is when I think
he butchered it on purpose.
Well, no, I'm not saying this was like an Academy Award winning French guy. I'm saying this was fun. I'm saying like if I wanted to see a parody of a French guy, this is what I would expect it to be.
Yeah, exactly. The Perrier and the
Perrier, and like then when he's holding him over the pool table, he's like, I'm going to break your arm unless you say, I love crepes. He's like, no, I'm not going to say it. I won't say it. And then he finds out that the thin little pancakes, like, I love those thin little pancakes. No, I'm not going to say it.
F1 is a spectacular sport. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, it just shows the ridiculousness of NASCAR and the people who follow NASCAR. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous sport. But
you're ridiculous, but you got to keep in mind, you're either first or you're last.
Yeah, and that's their attitude,
Another side person that got into this, that I really appreciate him in the comedy roles that he got to in the last years of his life, Michael Clark Duncan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that evil on me.
What a scary guy, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But again, like, it's just way over the top, the whole film. And also, the guy who played his father, I can't remember.
Gary Cole.
No.
Yeah.
Was it Gary? Yeah, it was Gary Cole. Yeah. I like that. He was just like the deadbeat dad, and I liked how they wrapped that whole story up, and it kind of put a nice little bow tie in the end there.
And I remember when I was mentioning that thing about either first or last. He actually broke into Ricky Bobby's school when he was a kid, and he was drunk, and he was being arrested for breaking and entering. I think I can't. Oh, Jesus, it's been a long time since I've seen that. But that's when he told him, like, "You remember, Ricky? You're the first or
you
last."
last. And I always say that, man. I always say that when I'm playing competitive multiplayer. That's my slogan. Either you're first or you're last.
Such a good movie. Such a good movie. I'm actually surprised that since the movie has done so well, why that didn't get a sequel. You know what I mean? I mean, it could. I mean, because here's the thing. We're going back to Anchorman. Nobody really figured that would ever have a sequel, but they've done it anyway. So that makes me wonder if they could ever revisit that character again.
I feel like if they made a sequel, it would just kill it. Just leave this one alone. I feel like it's just too ridiculous, too funny. The improv was there. You know what I mean? Yeah. If they're gonna make a sequel, it's probably gonna be scripted. I just can't see how it would work out. I mean, how many NASCAR jokes can you make?
Yeah, I think this was fine with just the one movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fair enough.
What I did want to see though is more of these characters, not these characters, but these actors working together.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see more. Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
Yeah, speaking of the dynamic duo Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, they made a newer movie. See, this is why I like to see the progression of the comedies like Step Brothers, and I'm gonna let Travis take it away, and he's gonna talk about Step Brothers for a second here.
Yeah, this movie came out in 2008. It was in the summer of 2008, and of course these guys were hot off from Talladega
Nights.
Yep, and they actually came up with this story, and I'm trying to see who wrote this. The story was by Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, and Adam McKay. And before I get into it, I've seen this movie so many times on DVD, and this is the very first DVD audio commentary what was done as a musical.
Really?
I swear. Go rent the movie and listen to the commentary. They've turned the commentary into a musical.
That's awesome.
It's awesome, but...
See, there's still a reason to buy DVDs, guys.
Yeah, see? Yeah. Come on.
Stop stealing stuff off the internet and buy DVDs.
And for God's sakes, get off the Netflix. Unless you're renting the DVDs. But anyways. This movie takes an interesting approach. The typical story of a dad raising his son, and another mom raising her son.
Except the twist is they're 40 years old.
Exactly. and these guys are like 39 and 40 years old, and they're still living with their respective parents. They don't have any jobs. They're spoiled rotten. All they care about is themselves. And when Mary Steenburgen, who plays Nancy, who is Brennan's mom, played by Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell plays Brennan.
Yeah, she's hot. She's a
MILF. Man.
She's a MILF.
I'd get me some of that.
Yeah, on a drunk night? Definitely.
Let's just hope that Ted Danson's not around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyways, and then you got Dale, played by John C. Reilly, who is the son of Robert, played by Richard Jenkins. Let's see, the Nancy and Robert, they get together, they get married, and they move in together to their own house, and Brendan and Dale meet each other for the first time, and they hate each other a lot. And they eventually do form some sort of a close relationship after, I remember the character's name, when Dale punched Brendan's brother Derek, and they got this mad respect for each other and find out that they have all these things in common, and everything's going great. They try to form some sort of an entertainment group.
It's a bunk beds.
The bunk beds scene, that's hilarious. Okay, we want to turn our beds into bunk beds. Can we please? Yes, go ahead. Well, thank you.
No power tools.
And they try to form a bunk bed, and then one of them hops on top and crashes right through, while the other one's laying in his bed. That's hilarious. That's the funniest scene of the whole film.
It's like something you would see for like, some 12-year-olds, you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's how they're acting because they're so spoiled and they're entitled. They've never really grown up. They're these middle-aged guys acting like they're like 9 or 10. And another funny scene is when they're walking past the playground at the school.
Oh, yeah.
And they all get attacked by these bullies. They kick and punch the shit out of them. And they walk off and it's like, I don't want to go back through that area again. But it's so funny. And
then afterwards, when they come to this whole realization of making the company together for prestige worldwide.
And they made the music video and are showing in this presentation where they wrecked Robert's boat.
Oh, yeah.
Boats and hoes.
Boats and hoes.
Gotta get me them boats and hoes.
But oh my gosh, it's such a funny movie. It's taking that formula where the man and the woman marry, they bring their kids into the relationship, and like I said, you expect us to have little kids, but these are like grown men. And one of the scenes, it was John C. Reilly's character towards the beginning of the movie. He's playing Guitar Hero. He's rocking it out to it. So I was like, okay, well, I can see like guys in their late 30s playing that game, but guy doesn't have a fucking job, and there he's living off of his dad's wealth, off of his money and all that stuff. I'm trying to make it.
I think it's funny at the end they actually break up because of them.
Yeah,
it's just fucked up. It's kind of sad actually, but
it's kind of sad. And then like they start blaming each other.
It's the only serious overtone in the whole movie, which is perplexes me about it. But
yeah, and another funny scene is like they start blaming each other for the upcoming divorce and all that stuff, and they get into a big old fight, and one of them tries to bury each other. One of them tries to bury the other one in the backyard, and all that. It's just a crazy, out of control movie, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
I think this is even funnier than Talladega Nights, actually.
I think so too. Except for a few parts, Talladega Nights, I think, because in Talladega Nights, it's more about like family values and stuff like that, where this is kind of the same thing, but more about like friendship.
Friendship and less jokes about NASCAR.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you get these two idiots trying to live together, it's pretty funny. I'm going to put my balls on your drums.
That's right. How can we forget that?
Why are you all sweaty? I was watching Shark Week.
Yeah. Cops is on at 4:00. Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, definitely that's one of those movies that if you haven't seen it, you got to go check it out.
Oh, you have to. If you're
so
any
fun.
sort of fan of Will Ferrell, it's definitely
or John C. Reilly.
Yeah, and John C. Reilly, definitely.
Are there John C. Reilly fans? Like, are there pure John C. Reilly fans?
I'm sure there are.
I guess he was awesome in Dewey Cox.
Oh,
he does
hell
a lot
yeah.
of work with Adult Swim, too.
Yeah, he does.
Although that shit is ridiculous.
Oh, man. That's another topic for another time.
Oh, yeah. For that well-looked-forward-to John C. Reilly episode, I'm sure everyone wants.
Oh, yeah. And this week on Geek Speak, we're talking about...
I love his role in Gangs of New York.
All right, guys. Is it break time?
It is break time.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. Time for part 2!
All right, so we talked about a bunch of Will Ferrell movies that we recently watched. Let's talk about some of the other films that he had, like Old School, for instance.
I didn't see Old School.
You didn't see Old School? What? I think that was one of the films that really deviated him from SNL to the filmmaking status he's at now. So okay, since you guys didn't see that, do you guys remember his SNL skits?
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that.
I think my favorite one that he did was the cheerleader sketch.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
Molly Shannon. The Spartans. Oh, my gosh, they were hilarious.
Yeah, this was early 2000s, right? Like late 90s, early 2000s.
The last good days of SNL, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. And it's it's funny because that's about the time where I really got into SNL. And Will Ferrell was good on that. I really enjoyed when he did the mashup songs of the popular songs at the time. When they did like the musical stuff.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I don't even know which ones you're talking about. I don't think I saw any of those.
Yeah, SNL, it's a lot different now, Now they got Dick in a Box.
Well, Dick in a Box is hilarious.
And that's actually kind of old now, too.
SNL these days is just... I just haven't watched it in so many years. Last time I turned it on, and I just wasn't finding myself laughing like I used to. It's just
you know what it is you also probably watch other things that are a lot funnier. They can only go so far on NBC, you know what I mean?
That's true. I mean, the one thing about SNL that will always be one of the key things about the show is it's always topical.
Yeah.
But it's at the same time, you got these subjects that come up, like something happened in the news this week, they lampoon it. But at the same time, I remember when they used to lampoon it, it used to be funny. Now it's just like, I don't know, I just don't get the same feeling like I used to when I was...
Oh, well, the actors on it are terrible now. I don't know if it's that they haven't kept the budget up for the show to keep getting good talent coming in, or whether the talent pool just sucks. Or
the talent pool sucks.
I think it's... Well, I don't even know if it's that. I think it's that the people who are talented would rather do other things than work for Lord Michaels.
You know what? Yeah. See, SNL used to be a launching point for comedic careers.
Yeah, Will Ferrell basically has his own thing now where he brings on other comedians and lets other people submit amateur-type content called Funny or Die. And it's doing absolutely phenomenal. I think it's probably the best thing he's done with his career, and it wasn't to benefit him. It was to benefit entertainment.
Yeah, so basically, the Internet killed SNL.
No, I wouldn't say they killed SNL. It's just it's like Peyton just said. The talent pool just sucks. I mean, the last good person to leave SNL, I think, was Kristen Wiig. Yeah. She's hilarious.
Tina Fey was good.
She's very good with deadpan humor.
I think, what's his name? Fallon. Jimmy Fallon killed it.
Oh, he was
terrible.
Oh, he was awful.
He was terrible.
He was okay on when they did the news thing, but...
Yeah, I'll give him that. He was funny on the news.
That's what.
And I liked him with the guitar bits once in a while. But he did it too much.
Then they showcased him, and he sucks.
He definitely should not have his own late night show. He is not that funny.
Oh no, hell no.
Oh, but it gets worse though. As soon as Jay Leno leaves, Jimmy Fallon's taking over the Tonight Show.
I know. But I haven't watched the Tonight Show in like 10 years. So
Jimmy Kimmel's better than I think he would be better suited for.
I think so too.
Kimmel's kind of old though.
Yeah.
If they want someone younger and hipper, Jimmy Kimmel's not it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that's what they said about Conan O'Brien, and look at him now.
Oh, Conan O'Brien's fantastic.
Yeah. But anyways, going back to Will Ferrell, one character he does very well is his impression of Alex Trebek whenever they do Celebrity Jeopardy sketches.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's never the best part of those sketches, though. I mean, he does an excellent Trebek, and he does a lot of good straight face during some of the skits that they're doing. But he's never the best part. It's what's his face doing Sean Connery, or the Norm Macdonald doing Burt Reynolds.
I always like when they were poking fun at George Bush or Bill Clinton at the time, especially during those elections.
Ferrell did a very good George Bush.
Yes.
Yes, he did. Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, and what was that thing he did? It was like inside the actor's studio or something like that.
Oh,
where he was that really awkward guy with the beard and the big glasses.
Yeah, he's a very real guy. I mean, Inside the Actor's Studio is a very serious show, but it's funny too because he has a lot of like comedians and stuff, and they just make a ridiculous act out of it. And I think he does that show out of a college. I think it's part of like a college program. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I know nothing about this. Are you talking about the actual Inside the Actor's Studio?
Yeah.
With James Lipton. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm watching that shit. I don't watch anything on Bravo.
That show's even still on?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Of course. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. What other Will Ferrell movies or topics you guys would like to discuss?
Well, some of his SNL things he did, of course, was Night at the Roxbury, side by side with Chris Kattan. I loved that movie when I first saw it years ago. I think if I tried to watch it now, I might have outgrown it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that also goes for his other big SNL movie that he was a part of, Superstar, alongside Molly Shannon.
I hated that.
I thought Superstar was okay.
It was all right. I mean, it's okay in small doses.
It was stupid. It was stupid as a SNL skit, and it was even stupider to make a movie out of.
I thought it was a really odd choice of an SNL skit to make a movie out of. I got to say that.
God, Molly Shannon, come on.
I think she's cute.
I think she's hot.
Oh. Okay.
I'd bang her. I'm just saying.
All right.
Maybe it's because she was wearing a Catholic schoolgirl outfit. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't fuck her with your dick, but okay.
No, yeah, that movie was okay. It's like you said. It was such a bizarre sketch to turn into a film. It definitely beats the other option, which is another Will Ferrell sketch he did with Sherry O'Terry. It was this middle-aged couple who would go to these locations, and Will Ferrell would play the piano. They would sing songs, and people would give them the finger because they suck. I can't remember.
Lost on me, man.
Yeah, or another one is Dog Show.
You know what?
Remember that one?
Talking back at the Night of the Roxburys, Chris Kattan was a really funny guy on Saturday Night Live, and I have no idea. Like, I don't see him around anymore.
Because he didn't have a very good movie career. I mean, he was okay in Night at the Roxbury. Then he did, like, Corky Romano, which was fucking terrible.
Yeah, they try to ride that really ridiculous.
He still does, like, the stand-up comedy circuit, but that's about it.
He was also in that, he was in House on Haunted Hill, which was a really weird movie for him to have been in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I've seen that movie, and I didn't like it too much.
Yeah, but again, like I said, like, you know, SNL used to be the launching pad for a lot of careers. So if you think about like all the best comedies you've seen throughout, you know, the modern history of comedies, they've all been like part of SNL, like David Spade or, you know, Chris Farley, and even going back, Chevy Chase,
and Bill Murray. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of those people that came from Second City, and when they were discovered by Lorne Michaels, they were brought over to Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me wonder if some of the people that are getting on the show now are from Second City. Because one of the things about being part of the not ready for primetime players of Saturday Night Live is you have to have some sort of improv training, and it's also if you have that and also being a stand-up comedian, you're going to be one of the most popular people on the show.
Right.
So, but the latest roster I'm seeing here, I'm wondering where they've actually come from, where they've been handpicked.
I don't know. They picked up Keenan from All That.
Yeah, Kenan Thompson. He's good. I'll give him that. He was
very funny.
Good.
He was really funny. Even on All That being a children's show, it was really good. You know, I mean, it was a direct copy. It was basically like the kids' version of SNL.
Mm-hmm. Even with the shitty musical acts.
Yeah.
It was the times. What do you expect?
It wasn't as bad as Roundhouse.
That's true.
I wouldn't even bother watching Roundhouse. But I mean, with all that, it's like, oh, this is funny. Oh, this is funny. Oh, music.
Ha ha.
Oh man, I miss those days. That's for sure. But yeah, Saturday Night Live anymore these days.
You know what? Those sketch comedy is hard to pull off now because a lot of people on on YouTube and stuff they've perfected sketch comedy without being on primetime television.
Mm.
That's true. That's true.
Again, funny or die. It's
funny or die. College humor.
To go and weed yourself out.
Mm-hmm. Television has to. They have to get with the times, I think.
That's true because there's also been some of these people who started out on YouTube and now they're getting their own TV shows.
Well,
network
NBC has an amazing relationship with Hulu Plus, so I think NBC is one of the few people we can accuse of not being with the times.
Exactly.
But still, it's not so much the delivery that has to be modified for them; it's their production. Because right now they're still trying to work on the old method of bringing people in, and it's not going to work that way. You just don't find that. I think the best thing that they could do is scour YouTube.
Yeah, that's like the best.
SNL should bring on a guy like Tobuscus.
Yeah, Comedy Central's good about that.
Yeah, unfortunately they gave Daniel Tosh a TV show too, so I can't give them any credit.
You know, I can't bash Daniel Tosh because
I can.
His show is kind of funny. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't think the guy's that great, but his comedy's good and people like it, and he's very hip.
No,
there's so many shows that use that formula, Tosh 2.0, where they scour the internet to show funny videos. There's so many shows like that.
If you watch Tosh.0, like he's not afraid to say what he wants to say. He's not afraid to make.
Oh yeah, like when he accosted that girl in the audience, saying, "Wouldn't it be funny if everybody raped her?" Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not defending Daniel Tosh. I'm just saying, I'm looking at the fact that why he's so popular.
I don't know why. I mean, that show could be funny only because the videos you watching it are funny, and that's no credit to Daniel Tosh whatsoever. And his other show, that fucking animated show, Brickleberry, that is one of the worst shows I've ever watched in my life.
But I'm saying. He takes internet videos and he's on social media, and that's like I said, that's the future, and people they don't really do that as much on primetime television.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you see the same videos that are from other shows, that's when it just doesn't feel very fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they really need to talent scout more. I mean, YouTube is a great place to do that, but YouTube's also getting to be a harsh place to make content as well.
Yeah, really. This whole debacle of this content ID shit and all that stuff.
I don't understand why this is just becoming a thing in the last 2 weeks. YouTube has always been like this. Can someone fill me in why this is suddenly a big deal when it's
because they're going on a raid, man. They're raiding all kinds of content, and the new content ID claims there's no protection anymore.
So did they randomly just increase the amount of content IDs that they're putting out there? Is that what the problem is? They're doing it more often than they were?
Well, YouTube used to have a protection, everything was under the Copyright Protection Act. Now it doesn't matter, and they're letting anybody go in and put claims on, even if it's 5 seconds of a song that's being played in a video game that's being played on the video. And now, instead of
Well, here's the thing. Fair use is one of the most abused things these days, and most of the people who want to shout and be all puffy-chested about their rights with fair use probably have never actually read a fair use clause in their life.
Yeah.
So I don't know why this is all these people trying to act like they're fucking lawyers in this situation. YouTube, I think, has every right to police this as they see fit. Yeah, I just don't think they're doing it the right way. The whole automatic...
They're trying to avoid lawsuits.
Which is not wrong on their part. At the same time, though, we're hearing lots of these stories of claims that are being made when the people they're being made on behalf of don't even give a shit. That's a weird story. Why is something like that's happening?
Because
and I think the worst part of it all is how hard it is to get in touch with YouTube, or should I say Google in this specific case, when you want to refute one of these claims. That's where they're failing. I think the whole trying to protect other people's works and all that, I think that's a huge, huge problem on the internet, and absolutely they have every right they have to go and try to combat as they need to.
They're trying to protect the copyright holders, but they don't do anything to protect the content creators.
I mean, YouTube has never been very supportive of content creators. And once again, this is not a recent problem, so I don't understand why this is something new. YouTube has always
they need to revamp the whole
content
thing.
Creators.
It's not so much that trying to revamp it. I mean, that's something that needs to be done, but we got to put this in perspective. When people monetize their videos, Google gets a huge percentage, while the person who is making the videos themselves, as long as everything is okay, they get the rest of the money. And in hindsight, it's not very much that you're getting from.
But now
Well,
it's even less because, now a video, they go in, say ZeniMax or some weird company goes in and says, hey, listen, you used the song that's on our label. So now when they monetize a video, they get all the money for it instead of getting just a small percentage.
Now, hold on. Dialing back for a second here. The payout that you usually get from sites like these is actually usually very fair. Normally it's somewhere around 50%. Sometimes it's as high as 80%. Sometimes it's as low as 40%. And it actually ranges depending on the specific ad, how long the people watch it, how much they sold that ad for. There's a lot of factors that go into this. It's much more confusing than even I can even try to pretend like I actually know about. But I do know.
You gotta have a degree in business to figure it all out.
Exactly. Really complicated algorithms they have for figuring out how much you get per each ad that's watched. Bottom line is, if you get a lot of views, you can make a lot of money with the system they have in place. And them taking what they're taking out of it, I think, is very fair because it's very hard to make a place that's going to be able to host the size and stream the size of videos that you have on there and the high quality. That takes a lot of space and a lot of bandwidth, so they're supporting that for you. They're encoding the video into a Flash format so it's easy for people to watch it. So that whole thing with the platform is there. And also I think the most important thing about it is that they're selling that advertising, which is one of the hardest thing to do. I don't know if you've ever had to sell advertising for even just something like maybe a program for a play you're involved in or something like that.
Yeah.
It's fucking tough, and it's a miserable thing to have to go through. And so for them to hook you up with not just like any Joe Schmo advertiser for the cleaners around the corner, I mean, you're getting advertisements on your videos from fucking Rhapsody and Dodge and like all these other things that are super awesome to have there. You can't complain about that.
Well, no, it's not so much about complaining. It's not that at all. It's just that when, like for instance, like some of these other personalities that make, they put videos up there to get millions of views. Let's take a look at Angry Joe, for instance. This is a major one.
Mm-hmm.
He's had tons of his videos flagged.
Something like 74 videos.
Yeah, and this is his career that he's been doing for 4 years.
But at the same time, you can look at it and say, you went into a risky business. He quit his job. The internet money is not stable money.
Well, this is what happens when you go into a new frontier. It's risky, and that's what the internet is still fairly new in its own right, but internet entertainment, there's so many things that are still being established with it. So, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I don't know what his entire life situation is. I would like to think Angry Joe didn't quit his day job. I'm assuming he's doing something else for income in his life.
No, I don't think so, man. He spends about 80 hours a week on videos. You know what I mean? Like, he puts a lot of effort into it, and then he does a lot of editing, and he's got to get people together to do all this stuff. And, I mean, look
by costumes. Yeah,
look how long it takes us to make, one video for.
Oh, you got to tell me about these things. I know what that entails.
I know.
But I'm just saying, like, I would like to think that he was smart enough not to put all of his eggs into that basket.
I think he really did, because the money is good. I mean, he gets hundreds of thousands of views on his videos, and he gets a lot of revenue for it. Now that it's cut, what's he gonna do?
Find another place. And that's what this is. I think the biggest solution to this is if people aren't happy with the service YouTube is providing them, go somewhere else. I mean, I've always been a huge proponent of Blip, and Blip has changed their practices a lot too. I like the changes that they've done. I think Blip has done a fantastic job making their service a specialty and making it for something that's special rather than just a place to put your cat videos. I think it's great what they've done with that.
Blip is great, but it's nowhere near as big of a giant as YouTube.
No, but they also don't, and I think this is probably what Travis was about to follow up with here. They also have shunned their gaming community. They don't have a video game section for their videos anymore. If you put up anything that's purely video game content, they're going to shut it down, unless it's just like very small parts of it, like the Portal video that we made for Newbie TV. They didn't give me any flags on that, but if I went and put like a Let's Play on there, that's going to get shut down right away.
See, I mean, they're afraid of the content ID claims. I mean, it's a big deal now.
Well, I don't even think it's so much that's just not the kind of content they want on their website. Yeah. They sent a mailer out to all their producers saying we don't want this kind of stuff in there. We want to be original web series.
I know, but now is the perfect time to pick up video game people.
It could be, if they wanted to jump into that market, they could. If they would be smarter, maybe even make like a subsidiary of Blip, like call it something else, and it's like a different channel within Blip that's all video game stuff.
Yeah. Look, a lot of these video game maker channels are dropping off. Like one of the original YouTube partners, Classic Game Room, Mark. Mm-hmm. He dropped off of YouTube. He don't make YouTube videos anymore.
Really?
He just uses it to promote his website, which is great, but there's no way he's going to make what he made on YouTube.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. What I was going to say is, what really kind of gets my goat is trying to get on Blip. You have to go through. Your video has to look a certain way. It's got to sound a certain way, which I fully respect. Don't get me wrong. That's important because you're trying to give the audience something very.
I think we got lucky.
Something special to watch, and it has to look really good, which is something you expect out of network television shows. But trying to get on Blip is a lot harder than trying to get on YouTube, because any Joe Schmo can get on YouTube.
Well, and as it should be. I think this is all good. I don't think there's a single negative to that, and some people may get butthurt about it, but I think it's the best thing that Blip could have done.
Yeah, of course. You don't want the garbage videos. You don't want...
Yeah, when I subscribe to a channel on Blip, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to be providing something quality that I could watch and enjoy. It's very hard to find shitty content on Blip. It's not all going to be knocked out of the park great, but you're not going to find some...
You don't have to sift through 300 bloggers.
Yeah, you're not going to just find some boner just sitting there talking into his camera about how his day was. You'll never find that on Blip.
Exactly. Well, my point is, it's just harder to get on that network, and rightfully so. That was my point I was going to make.
It is. You're absolutely right. They have an incredibly stringent review process that you have to go. You have to submit an application. They're going to look at. You have to have your first episode done. You can't just go to them with a concept. You have to have a first episode crafted and ready to be uploaded. And they're going to look at things like your aspect ratio. They're going to judge you on things like how good your lighting is, how good the sound is, how well you liked everything. And if it sounds like shit or if it looks like shit, you're going to get rejected. And it's a harsh reality that I think a lot of video producers these days can't accept because they're used to what YouTube gives you. You're used to be able to just go on there and post whatever the fuck you want, and generally it's okay. And I think this is another one of those cases. People get butthurt because they're being rejected from Blip, and now people are being butthurt because they're being rejected monetization on videos that they feel they're entitled to. If you don't like the fact that you're being booted out because you have all this video game content in your videos, try making videos that don't have all this video game content. You could talk about video games and not have it in there. Travis, you made a number of videos where you barely showed any video game content whatsoever. It's possible to do it.
Oh, yeah, of course. And the only thing that probably would hurt me is my Let's Play channel.
Absolutely, it would hurt your Let's Play. But you know what? Maybe Let's Plays just aren't a thing, But maybe
Let's Plays, let's face it. Let's Plays.
Or they're just not going to be a monetizable thing. Maybe they're just something you put on there for fun. That's just the way it's going to be.
That's why I don't understand. How does a channel like Game Grumps get away with it? All they do is,
That's a good question because because when I look at Let's Plays, I look at them as like walkthroughs and everything. But what I do, what Game Grumps does, is they just play the game and they just crack jokes out the whole time and everything. It's never a very
It's a commentary.
It's a commentary, yeah.
But they play games, they play the cutscenes, they play, I haven't seen them have a problem. I haven't seen a lot of videos getting taken down from them.
But then again, maybe they haven't flagged, but they just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, just because you're seeing the videos doesn't mean they've been monetized. Maybe the videos are there and they have those content IDs on them, and then they're
just paying them
themselves. Yeah, maybe they're just accepting it. I've never. Go ahead.
Which also kind of explains why they also do things for Polaris as well, because they are part of the Polaris network. So
explain Polaris for people who don't know what it is.
Polaris is a network that was launched after the Game Station went away, and it's this channel that has all these really big name video producers like Dodger, Total Biscuits on there, Game Grumps. It's this huge network where it's all this video content that's not just about video games. It's also about card games, comic books, television, you name it. And Game Grumps, like I said, they're part of that network. And I do see your point as to how they get away with it. But then again, what we don't know behind the scenes is a different story. So.
And also, I think a big thing about it is the fact that I think you just answered what the question was. I'm sorry, you just answered the question with what you just said there. They're a part of a network. There's a big difference between being a general YouTube content creator and being what's called a partner with a specific network. There's a lot of them on there. There's Vivo, there's Maker, there's
Maker Studio,
Machinima, and I guess Polaris is another one of them. I wasn't too familiar with that one, but yeah, I guess that's another one that might be on there. These people have a separate agreement with YouTube, and when certain things come up like that, they're actually handled on a base-by-base.
So they're protected.
They're protected. In fact, we all know Tony Mango. He has a similar relationship for his Mark Out Moment channel. So anytime where before he got into his partnership, would have gotten a claim from WWE saying, hey, you have a picture of one of our events on here. You can't monetize off this. He's going to have the people from Full Screen pop in like, oh, no, don't you dare put that claim on there. This guy is okay. So that's likely what they may have on their back.
Okay. Do you run into problems with the post-Raw show?
No.
It?
I have not had any problems. We are not currently partnered up with Mega Powers Radio. Is not currently partnered up with it. We're still just a free range channel.
Right.
But I have not had problems with it as far as any WWE pictures. The only content claim I had on it was for a piece of music that I used.
Right.
But I just went back and edited that piece of music out, and then everything was okay.
Yeah. So that's, but again, like you said before, there's claims being made by companies that aren't even sending claims out. It's just random shit.
Oh, and I've been a victim of claims before, not necessarily for the Raw show, but for keeping kayfabe, I've gotten it for a few of them, and more specifically, I got it for a lot of the stuff we did with Newbie TV. I had to work through a lot of things with that.
Right.
And a lot of stuff when we did those things, too, was before you could even really monetize on YouTube. YouTube was still behind the curve back then. You couldn't have monetization. You couldn't even have customizable thumbnails. Back then, I was a huge proponent for Blip because they actually let their content creator have those things in YouTube. YouTube at least has caught up a little bit as far as those perks.
I remember we had
the situation.
We had a lot of trouble with the Batman video where it had no audio. For a while.
Yes, that did happen. Yeah, so YouTube has not been very kind to me in other ways, but at the same time, I just kind of accept it as an evil that's there. I mean, what YouTube is a place for people to put their stupid videos, and if you want to put good content like that, you're going to get policed sometimes because, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who can't play nice on the internet, and they want to put movies and they want to put full-length music albums on there, and they have to make sure that shit isn't being put on there.
I know, it sucks, man. It sucks, and they really shouldn't do that. But I think it's funny. Philip DeFranco actually. He made a video and he said, we at SourceFed treat YouTube like an alcoholic father who you don't know if he's going to take you to Disneyland one day or beat you into submission the next.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very difficult to. The whole landscape of the internet videos it's too new, too experimental.
Oh, it's going to evolve so much more until it reaches its final form, too. Like, the way that it's changed in the last 3 years has just been absolutely phenomenal, and I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to be a part of it. It's like a whole new form of entertainment, and nobody, like, for years, people were like, what's going to be the next television? And it's finally taking shape now.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Definitely. It's exciting, but it's also a little scary, and it's risky, but, and I think some of these companies, like record companies and stuff, like they don't understand the power of promotion.
That's the big problem there too, is because a lot that's something that YouTube doesn't fully understand, or whomever is running YouTube.
Well, it's not just YouTube. It's like Capcom, Nintendo.
Well, though Capcom, they are trying to help those who post videos on the internet because they know there's promotion, and they also see that what YouTube is doing, they're really pushing the boundaries a little too far in terms of these copyright claims.
But they also see that there's money in it too.
Well, yeah, but it's also promotion.
Yeah, it's promotion, but it's their content, so they decide fuck it. But it's also, you got to think like, these guys are spending, their time and effort, and they're working really hard to make, this content for everybody to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I think is going to happen in the future, I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but I think they're going to go more for subscription based.
No, people will never buy into that.
You don't think so?
I think they've already tried to do something like that before and failed. They may make another attempt at it. It'll never pass. They try to do it with that. They try to do it with iTunes. Amazon, I think, is the only people who are having even a modicum of success with a model like that. I don't think they're going to be able to pull that off on YouTube. They have to maintain the similar model that they have now. They just have to find a better way to reward their producers because they're not doing it right now.
I mean, if you take monetization off and then you start subscriptions, and then you can avoid content ID claims.
No, because then, like, who's getting the you're still having a content ID problem, because then where does the money for the subscriptions go to? Does it go to the producer, or does it go to the person that has the copyright on whatever content you have in there? The problem isn't distributing the money itself, it's why they're diverting it. Yeah. Why they're making this choice that they have to divert this money away from going to the producer. And what percent? Because maybe they are right. Maybe based on what is in there, maybe they are going outside of fair use law, and maybe they do owe that person a certain percentage of what's there. They should have someone scouting all these things, being like, okay, we're going to make a fair judgment off this, that you have to give them 10% of your revenue off this video because of the 3 minutes that you have this in here.
Angry Joe had a really good point. He said what they could do is they could try to rework this in a way where things would go as they are right now, but then if they do this whole thing copyright claim, the person, the company that the music or video is from, the original content creators themselves, they would get a small percentage of whatever you're making. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Google gets the rest, obviously. But you're still getting a little bit of something, even though you're using content from somebody else. I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Yeah.
I mean, that was essentially what I was just saying there. I mean, they have someone looking at it and determining how much time of whatever you're using is in there, and what the specific laws is for whatever type of content you're using in there. If it's a song, or whether it be a video or a video game, what have you, then yeah, come up with some type of complicated algorithm that the producers aren't going to be able to understand, and just like, okay, this is how it's going to work, and I think everyone will be happy.
Absolutely.
Well, even if they meet them in the middle, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna monetize. You're gonna monetize whatever. You give the copyright holders a small percentage, and then give the rest to prospective owners of the video. I mean, it's art, so I mean they have a claim to what they create, right?
Of course. So yeah, but this is a subject that's gonna always be around until finally anybody at Yahoo, at YouTube and Google try to figure something else.
Well, it's funny you say Yahoo, actually, because I mean the biggest option because this is all basically about video gamers. This isn't about most YouTube producers. This is more specifically about video gamers, is where this drama that's coming up right now is. And we were talking about Blip, and gamers don't have Blip to turn to because Blip has also sort of shunned that community away. The big one that everyone's talking about is Twitch, which is owned by Yahoo. Yeah. This might be the biggest opportunity for them. They've been their own thing. They've just been kind of over there as an entity. This is their biggest opportunity to say, hey, come over here. We're going to take care of you guys.
Yeah, and I'd like to see something take on YouTube, man. I really do. I mean, it's capitalism, and
it could finally be a place for Yahoo to gain a victory over Google, which they haven't had for a while now.
Oh yeah, Google, man. Google's shit. Google is Skynet.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, Google.
It's funny. They just purchased a ton of robotics companies and stuff. I swear to God, it's like the Terminator.
Skynet.
They are. They're Skynet.
I wouldn't be surprised if that actually did happen.
Yeah, they bought up this company. I don't know. It's a pretty viral video where they're making like a cheetah type robot, and it can run like 30 miles an hour.
Oh, lovely.
It's like killing machine. They're probably going to sell it to the government. But you know what I mean? Like, and then like you said last week with the drones and stuff with Amazon, and some pretty crazy shit with technology is just really taking off.
So there's going to be cheetahs running the streets and drones dropping bombs from the air. Oh, my God.
It's very Orwellian.
The robot apocalypse wasn't exactly how I pictured it would look, but you know what? It's still scary.
It is scary, man.
And hopefully it's not going to be overly dramatized like it was in those Matrix movies.
It took maybe 30 years,
Hopefully Keanu Reeves is the first to die.
2014. We'll see. Like I said, how ridiculous Yeah, just seeing drones in the sky. I mean, I know they could fly like miles up and whatever, drop your packages, but
I don't know. The future is starting to look even more scary. That's for sure.
yeah, it's madness, man. It's crazy when you think about it. Like we got unmanned drones bombing the shit out of other countries. You know.
Oh man.
No, let's not go there.
Yeah.
I know. I don't want to necessarily, bring the mood down, but that's the future we're looking at here.
That it is. But
it's going to be owned by Google.
Oh gosh.
As the FAA calls us.
Well, let's try to lighten the mood a little bit now, because I'm getting all depressed and shit.
I'm pretty sure Google's responsible for the death of Steve Jobs, who was supposed to be our savior. Everyone doubted him. You wouldn't listen. Now we don't have him anymore, and now Google's going to take over.
Oh, man, get off the Apple teat.
Listen, Apple's our only chance, so you better start fucking backing them. But that's just how Google people are.
That's just how Xbox people are.
Yeah, to me, when you compare Google and Microsoft and all that, I just think of hipsters for some reason. I don't know why. I think of like Google and companies such as the Microsoft with the Xbox. I'm thinking like this tied to the hipsters for some reason.
It's funny because Apple's really the ones that's tied to the hipsters.
That's true.
Yeah, these multi-billion-dollar corporations.
Mm. They do make some cool stuff, though.
They do.
Make some cool stuff, but it's very expensive stuff as well. And why they're starving people in Africa.
Well, as long as YouTube doesn't take the monetization away from this video, maybe we can afford some of that stuff.
Well, we don't have any pictures or anything on this, I hope, that would warrant us to have any troubles.
Nah.
I'm going to put a picture of YouTube on there. Just a big YouTube logo and see if they put a claim out for themselves.
You can't do that.
Put like a big middle finger right in front of it, too.
I see that a lot. A lot of people on YouTube have the fuck Google signs and fuck YouTube.
Exactly. I've seen those people like, oh yeah, that's gonna change YouTube's mind and Google. Yeah, that's gonna make them want to say, okay, we're sorry. Here.
This is why you can't have nice things, because you all act like children.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna give up all these billions of dollars just to make you assholes happy. You video game people.
You sons of bitches and your blistered thumbs.
And that's.
Oh man, is there anything else here? I mean, I'm feeling pretty down right now.
Well, we gotta end on at least a higher note than that. Does anyone have a story about kittens or anything?
Kittens? No.
Oh man, I wanted to talk about Christmas, but that's next week's episode.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a Christmas-themed episode next week. We'll all be watching a few Christmas movies or Christmas specials or something, and be bringing in the ho 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 holidays.
Oh, you slapper. Okay. But yeah, definitely check that out, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I think they're making marijuana legal in Guatemala.
Oh, well, I'm gonna rush to Guatemala.
No, they're also trying to do it in New York too.
Well, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Pretty sad state of affairs when New York is behind Guatemala.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, come on.
Get me some pot in New York.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess
like
they're
Illinois.
realizing.
I don't think Illinois will be like the last state to legalize it.
I wouldn't doubt that, because here in the Midwest, we get everything ass backwards.
Mm. You still have prohibition out there, don't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I still have to go to a speakeasy to get myself a six-pack.
Really? You live in a dry state?
Yeah. Yes, Craig. Yes, he does.
Damn. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That was awesome.
Okay, now I think we can end the show. Let's go before we fall back down.
All right, so Travis, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Oh man, that was awesome. Oh, okay. Anyways, yes, you can check me out on YouTube. Man, we've been talking a lot about them tonight. Go to www.youtube.com/rose-colored-reviews, the show where I take a look at classic video games, television shows, and movies, and through rose-colored lenses, I see if they still stand the test of time. And on my sister channel, and this is going to be hard to say after the discussion we've had, it's youtube.com/rose-colored-let's play, recording more episodes of Skull Monkeys, like I have been. And also, next week, since it's Christmas, I'm doing something very special for everybody. I'm doing special one-off episodes of RCLP, where I'm going to be playing one single solitary game each day of next week. And there's just random games I found, and just quick-to-record episodes, and they're going to be a lot of fun. And check it out at youtube.com/rose-colored-let's play. You can find me on Twitter. My handle is TravisGoss79. And you can find me here on Mega Powers Radio each and every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central for Geek Speak.
Alrighty. Mike, how are you doing?
Doing pretty damn good, man. Had another fantastic week so far for Mega Powers Radio. Both the Raw Post Show and Geek Speak tonight have done fantastic numbers. Very proud of the station maintaining its numbers through December, who is normally a very crummy month for entertainment. So hopefully things keep going. Things are only going to get stronger as we head into the new year. So please stay tuned to MegaPowersRadio.com, Facebook.com/MegaPowersRadio, YouTube.com/MegaPowersRadio for all the cool shows we got coming at you.
All right, folks. Please remember, tune in to Geek Speak. We're live every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, at www.megapowersradio.com. And if you want to hear our archived version of the show, you can subscribe to our official Mega Powers Radio YouTube channel at youtube.com/MegaPowersRadio. You could also subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. And you can also, if you'd like to listen to our archived episodes, you can find us on fanboysanonymous.com. It's a place for everything geek, and please interact with us. You can call us. We're a live show, and we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/GeekSpeakLive, or email us at GeekSack@MegaPowersRadio. Thank you, and have a good night.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Of the juggernaut, bitch!
It's not a tumor.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane!
Two chicks at the same time.
I am the law!
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!